Jade AZT. Oh, first and Sanga Enli Dito Gala. AJ AZT Yuchi Hakeda Haskell Indian Nations Fakasa Ditne. Good afternoon, my name is AJ and I belong to the Menominee Indian Tribe of Wisconsin and the Yuchi Polecat Ceremonial Grounds of Oklahoma. I am currently in my third year of undergrad studying American Indian Studies at Haskell Indian Nations University, and I have been blessed with the opportunity to speak with you all today. The current administration has had Native American rights in mind since day one. On January 24th of 2017, only 4 days into his presidency, President Trump issued a presidential memorandum reversing the halt and starting the completion of the Dakota Access Pipeline. Regardless of concerns brought by tribal leaders, the Trump administration proceeded. This decision quickly solidified one thing to Indian country. To Donald Trump, Native Americans can only exist so long as our existence doesn't inconvenience his administration. Nearly 7 years later, the sentiment still rings true. On February 14, 2025, not even a month into his second term, President Trump signed Executive Order 14-2010, which implemented the Department of Government Efficiency. The so-called department, spearheaded by South African oligarch Elon Musk, slashed through an excess of federal departments, ensuing mass layoffs under the pretense of eliminating and exposing fraud, abuse, and waste. The impact of these layoffs was felt across the country, especially in the already underserved Indian country. Haskell Indian Nations, my university, was heavily impacted by these initial layoffs. Approximately 1/3 of our staff was let go, including faculty, coaches, staff, and more. Many, if not all, were informed in the middle of the workday via phone call. The impacted departments also consisted of the Indian Health Services, the Bureau of Indian Education, the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Despite all of this, many of these orders for firings have been rescinded, but the funding freeze is still in motion. This move was a direct attack on tribal sovereignty, and I, for one, am worried. These departments oversee functions and responsibilities that are key to successful tribal governance. However, these programs aren't just a given to us because we are special, but rather a satisfaction met by the government to uphold our rights as sovereign nations. This administration and our government as a whole have both treaty and moral responsibilities to the tribes. These treaties are not just pieces of paper, but the groundwork for our continuation as nations. Tribal nations have been here for tens of thousands of years. And while the history between the tribes and the government is dark and twisted, it is also an example of the indigenous persistence and a refusal to give up our identities. It is due to the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors that our nation stands strong today. Every member of any tribal nation, federally recognized or not, has the determination of 1,000 ancestors coursing within them, and they are loud and more persistent than we are. However, the basis of these issues are not unique to the tribal community. Each community of underserved people faces similar challenges, and we all want solutions. Trump's Executive Order 1398-5, ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferences, is infecting us all. Approximately 70% of the American population fall under DEI. Conversations and language used regarding DEI push conservative rhetoric, condemning DEI as radicalism and left wokeness. There's little coverage on the true impact these EOs have on the American citizen, specifically the average student. These EOs have terminated grants and contracts related to DEI, limited state institutions' ability to provide equitable access to education, as well as the Trump administration threatening to pull funding from any higher ed institute that uses race as consideration for admissions, hiring, promotion, compensation, financial aid, scholarships, prizes, and administrative support, discipline, housing, graduation ceremonies, and all other aspects of student, academic, and campus life. That is a direct quote. With his permission, I would like to share the experience of my dear friend who is currently in the last semester of his biology degree at KU. He's a scholarship award winner, and due to his many scholarships, he has been able to pursue his degree. Despite this heavy course load, my friend has managed to balance both his education and social life. He's not only a member of, but also sits on the board for many organizations on campus, such as the Latin American Student Union and Phi Iota Alpha, the oldest Latino interest fraternity. Due to all of his accomplishments, this should be a time of celebration and preparation for med school. However, due to the DEI grant termination, his semester has now been tainted with the stress of being unable to afford his education in the home stretch. Stories like these are not unique to KU students, but are happening to all students of all backgrounds across the nation. Education is a basic human right. We all deserve the ability to better educate ourselves, and the Trump administration does not want to see this. This nation has existed for 248 years, and yet the education for all people is still being called into question. When will enough be enough?
That's right.
The best way for us to solve these issues is by uniting and not dividing like so many in this country desire to do. We must listen and uplift one another, ensuring all voices are heard, but this must be done throughout all levels of our society. We as citizens must do our due diligence to understand our fellow neighbors with different experiences of our own. We must learn from and teach one another, and our leaders must do their due diligence to not only hear, but to truly understand their constituents. Okay, jute, ha, okay, afata, ah. Together we can move forward. Senle kiasata.